Good day to you my friends, I'm Kenator, and today we're taking a look at Shapez 2, which has just jumped to the big 1.0 version. If you hadn't seen it, I've actually done a great review for this for its early access launch, but the key takeaway then was that it was absolutely worth grabbing, as it's a calm, colourful, easy to start and learn 3D factory game in space to merge various shapes and colours. It takes nearly everything about a factory game and makes it the simplest it can be, and I said it was the perfect game to introduce someone to a factory game. No building cost, no resources to expand, yet it has plenty of complexity through depth of play, without the hindrance of other factory games like remembering the best recipes or using massive factory calculators. It's just not needed here, and it's still just as fun as those other competing games. Shapez 2 excels at what it does, giving you complexity without being complex, and it's immensely satisfying, and I still hold true to that opinion. But what's changed since then, and how will it affect your gameplay? Well, a whole bunch of stuff has been tweaked and adjusted, and lots of new content added. If you haven't played since launch, then you are in for a treat. Let's review some of that to get started. The big one is a brand new game mode called Manufacture. With this, your beautiful vortex is gone, and you will instead be delivering to brand new trade stations. The core change here is that instead of solving ever growing in complexity shape puzzles, where you delete your factory and begin again for the next puzzle to progress, this mode is all about building large permanent factories, starting with a new shape that's introduced that you can only get from these new trade and manufacture stations. And as you progress, these shapes are used to access and trade for the next tier of the shape. This mode, however, is not for beginners, and it does become quite complex very quickly. So if you're just starting out for the first time, head into the very good tutorial just to get started before moving into classic mode, which is my favourite. Also, while 2 years old, my original review will give you a great breakdown of gameplay if you want to know more. The new manufacture mode is a real challenge, and it's great to build up all these massive factories, which all interconnect in a very complex way, with the end goal being to finally relaunch your vortex. I found it a real challenge to try and complete, as I kept running up against the build limits in the progression. Thankfully, there's no rush in this game, and trading in shapes with the side mission nets you progression too. Now, each of the modes and its various difficulties now have cards to unlock for completing them, and it's also tied to the new Steam achievements too. Another big change, while optional, is a new spiral galaxy layout for the map, and is now the default. And I very much welcome this change, as it leaves large areas of open space void of distractions and lets you build without blocking shapes you might need. Plus, it just looks cool. When building your factories, you can build up to 3 layers on each platform. As part of an earlier update and now refined further, you can now layer the platforms themselves. This can let you build some really ultra dense factories. And not only that, you can now layer trains on top of each other too, which can be a real lifesaver. Speaking of trains, these have been completely overhauled. Not just with new graphics, we also have new train stop modes. One for a full load or unloading, or just a quick stop to unload if it can and then moves on quickly. Train station loading has been improved too, allowing for much more storage at the station, which should keep your factories humming along quite nicely. But even then, the management of these trains might still be your nemesis. They certainly were for me. But if you're not using trains, then space belts are used to go between the platforms, and these have been updated to carry 4 times the amount of shapes, which really cuts down on how many you need for a factory. And that's great, considering you will now be stacking the platforms too. Another belt update for your platforms is the speed boost upgrade for your belts is now a global boost to belts and machines, which is a godsend. No more having to rejiggle your layouts as you progress, and means you need much less blueprints too. Everything just gets faster, which for those bigger milestones, you won't have to wait as long, both in time spent with your factory doing its thing and how fast you can scale up your factory because you're not having to remake so much. Very nice streamlining. Steam Workshop and modding fans will be happy to hear there will be direct access in the game for this, with no extra tools needed, and I really can't wait to see what mods will become available to add new challenges or features. With all the countless visual and gameplay improvements, additions and tweaks, it blows my mind how much more performance they've squeezed out of this game too. My frames were bumping into my monitor refresh rate at 120, and I had no issues running through another 30 hours of 1.0 playtime. The only downside I found, and that's only if you're an existing player, is that the old save files are kaput, and they are not compatible with all the upgrades they've added to the game. But this isn't unheard of for game updates, let alone a full 1.0 release. And considering the new game mode will be a fresh start anyway, it's not a crazy loss, and it will give you an excuse to get some of those early achievements now the game has them. Shapez 2 was already a fantastic game, but for this release it's been polished so much it truly shines. And a huge congrats to the dev team for constantly delivering improvements and getting us this 1.0 release. It's out now and I really hope you all enjoy it as much as I have. Now I have to get back to my factory as it demands more growth. Let me know in the comments what you're looking forward to the most, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more sci-fi and space gaming content and reviews, and I will see you guys in the next one. Kenator, out.